Good evening. I'd like to call the City Commission meeting for November 14th, 2024 to order. It's 5:30 p.m. Roll call, ma'am.
Mayor White,
Here.
Vice Mayor Grinder,
Here.
Commissioner Bloodsworth,
Here.
Commissioner Miller,
Here.
Commissioner Williams.
Here.
Commissioner Williams is going to offer our invocation, followed by the pledge, please.
Let us pray. Most gracious God, first, we just want to give you thanks for yet another wonderful day that's coming to an end, God. But we say thank you. And we just want to say thank you for this city, God. We just want to say thank you for everyone that make this city to be what it is today. And I just ask you in your sweet holy name that you continue to lead and guide and protect this city, God. Just be with them, God, because we know that you're able to do all things, God. You have the power, God. So again, God, we say thank you. Thank you for thy grace and thy mercy. But most of all, we thank you for a wonderful, wonderful city. And that is my prayer that it continue to be a wonderful city. In your sweet holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, gentlemen, next on the agenda is approval of tonight's agenda.
So move.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve tonight's agenda. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The agenda is approved. Next is the approval of the consent agenda, the minutes of the October 24th, 2024 commission meeting.
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda, the minutes of October 24, 2024 commission meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Consent agenda is approved. And next, we have special presentations. Commissioner Williams, Angela asked if I would present you with this, and I was absolutely honored. It's hard to put into words, and for me, that's a pretty big deal. How much you've meant to this commission, how much you've meant to this city, and how much of your heart you have poured into this for 20 years. We are blessed by everything you've done for us. I personally have learned so much from you, and I will never forget the night you told me why Lily Springs was so important to you. So, for everything that you've done, thank you.
Speaking. That's not a problem with me. It's my running joke for many years, well, they'll never give a mic to a politician and a preacher. And I'm both, so you got double trouble. But truly, this is a bittersweet night tonight. But I want to read something that most of y'all might not know, Miss Ludell Mobley. Angela wouldn't know her. But Ms. Ludell used to come to these meetings every night, and if you didn't do what Ms. Ludell said, you was in trouble. But this what she gave me. She cut it out the newspaper. A newcomer elected to High Springs Council. High Springs City Commissioner Jim Gabriel was reelected to the second term Tuesday and will join the new panel by a newcomer, joined on the panel, a newcomer, Byron Williams. Williams and Gabriel was the top two vote getters among 4 candidates and are set to be sworn in to office today. Williams, pastor of Mount Carmel United Methodist Church, gathered 534 votes. Gabriel, who owns a High Spring bike shop, netted 528 votes. Former High Springs City Commissioner and Clerk Leonard Wither pulled in 332 votes, while former Commissioner Fletcher Collins collected 171 votes. Yes. So again, I just want to say thank y'all for allowing me to serve this city for the last 20 years. I got a list of all the people that I served with, from Larry Travis to Jim Drum. I mean, the list go on and on and on. Jenny, I want to thank Jenny. I want to thank Angela. Y'all's always there to support me and to help me to do a good job. And with that being said, I would love y'all support. In 2026, I'm formally announcing that I am running for county commissioner in 2026 to represent the small cities in this district. I would love y'all support as a county commissioner that I can serve this community like I served it sitting up here. I got a heart for small communities. I know the small communities. I think I can do well as county commissioner. So please, I can use your support in 2026. Again, thank you all. Ain't been long, you too. But thank you. Mayor Watts, thank you so much. Thank you. It's been an honor. Been an honor. Oh, we ain't got Scott here tonight. Tell Scott I missed him on tonight. But truly, this is a bittersweet night for me tonight. But I know we're leaving it in good hands, and I'm just only a phone call away. Please don't hesitate to call, because I'm not going anywhere. This is home. This is home. I love this city. I was told the second time I ran, my campaign slogan was, I love High Springs. And some others got angry with me because I said I loved High Springs. And I explained to them, I was born in High Springs, I was raised in High Springs, I was educated in High Springs, and I'll probably be buried in High Springs. That's why I love High Springs. And to this very day, I still love High Springs. There's no place like High Springs. Even when I was in the military, some people say, you from Miami? No. Are you from Jacksonville? No. I am from High Springs, Florida. And they used to pick at me because I had a P.O. box number. But I never did. Say I was from Gainesville, and to this very day, I would tell anyone that I meet, I am from High Springs, Florida. High Springs, Florida. Where's High Springs? 25 miles northwest of Gainesville, home of the Fighting Gators. So again, thank y'all so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. Next on the agenda
Madam
is,
Mayor, we have a presentation as well. For mayor, your year of mayor is coming to an end. And I know the staff has appreciated your leadership. Community, everybody's appreciated your leadership. But for me, I came in, it was a very trying time. You were always supportive. You were always a sounding board. And whether right or wrong, we disagree on things, but you always stuck to your beliefs and your morals, and you never sugarcoated anything. And that helped me get a good foot here and get a good start. So personally, for me, your term of mayor, it's sad to me. It's a new era. You got big shoes to fill for whoever is the next mayor, but I'm sure that they're going to be great at it, just as you were. So thank you.
thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that so much. Next on the agenda, unfinished business. Discuss, consider, and act on special magistrate.
So a couple months ago, you approved a recommendation for special magistrate. Again, the special magistrate, we need it because of, they oversee the contested code violations as well as contested red speed camera violations. We all approved and recommended, and that person didn't work out. Just a lot of issues came up, a lot of red flags, and we decided that we're not gonna go forward with it, so we have to put it back out. So that's why you see it under unfinished business. And we need somebody quick because Red Speed is up and running. And we have a new, with code enforcement officer. She's been here, I don't know, probably a month or so now, and, we're gonna need a special magistrate to get this stuff ironed out.
So we have to send it back out to bid?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I understood that the person that we were going to contract with didn't have any malpractice insurance.
He wasn't
And I-
willing to get the insurance that
I'm
the.
not sure that's a good position to be in.
No,
Yeah.
he admitted that he didn't read the bid packet all the way, and he didn't want the insurance. So enough red flags went off, I just decided no.
Yes, sir. Any questions or comments, gentlemen? Any- No. Any questions from the audience? All right, gentlemen. Do we have a motion?
I make a motion, we send it back out to bid.
Second.
All right, it has been properly moved and seconded that we send the special magistrate bid back out. Do we need to do roll call, or is this just, okay. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right. We'll send it back out and hope we get some more responses. And at this time, we're going to adjourn this meeting. Motion to adjourn, gentlemen.
So moved. My last.
Commissioner Williams, will you do the honors, please, sir?
Sure. This meeting is adjourned.
Thank you, sir. Yeah. Yep.
Raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Chad Howell, do solemnly swear or affirm
I, Chad Howell, do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support, honor, protect, and defend
that I will support, honor, protect, and defend
the Constitution and government of the United States and of the state of Florida,
the Constitution and government of the United States and of the state of Florida,
that I possess all qualifications to hold office under the Constitution of the state of Florida and under the charter of the city of High Springs,
that I possess all qualifications to hold office under the Constitution of the state of Florida and under the charter of the city of High Springs,
that I am not precluded from holding office pursuant to Article 6, Section 4 of the Florida Constitution,
that I am not precluded from holding office pursuant to Article 6, Section 4 of the Florida Constitution,
and that I will well and faithfully perform the duties of the office of city commissioner,
and that I will well and faithfully perform the duties of the office of city commissioner,
on which I am now about to enter, so help me God.
on which I am now about to enter, so help me God.
Thank you. Congratulations. You can take your seat up at the dais.
Thank you, ma'am.
Sarah's going to hold the Bible for me. Thank you, dear.
Okay, your turn.
Yes, ma'am.
Ready?
Yes,
I,
ma'am.
Catherine White, do solemnly swear or affirm
I, Catherine Whites, do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support, honor, protect, and defend
that I will support, honor, protect, and defend
the Constitution and government of the United States and of the state of Florida,
the Constitution and government of the United States and of the state of Florida,
that I possess all qualifications to hold office under the Constitution of the state of Florida and under the charter of the city of High Springs,
that I possess all qualifications to hold office under the Constitution of the state of Florida and under the charter of the city of High Springs,
that I am not precluded from holding office pursuant to Article 6, Section 4 of the Florida Constitution,
that I am not precluded from holding office pursuant to Article 6, Section 4 of the Florida Constitution,
and that I will well and faithfully perform the duties of the office of city commissioner,
and that I will well and faithfully perform the duties of the office of city commissioner,
on which I am now about to enter, so help me God.
on which I am now about to enter, so help me God. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
I now call open the 2024-2025 commission meeting for purpose of reorganization. Any commission comments before we start?
Oh, I do have a comment. Miss Kelly was here tonight to do the invocation. I don't know if that had went through or not. So is it okay if she does it now? Because I know she's here.
I have no problem with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, Almighty God, we come before you today grateful for the opportunity to serve our community. As we begin this meeting, we ask for your guidance and wisdom in our deliberations. We pray that we be sensitive to your leading and obedient to your will. We pray that you open our eyes to see your hand at work in every aspect of this meeting. We pray, God, that we listen to one another with open hearts and minds and make decisions that best serve the need of our city. We pray for love, peace, and prosperity for all our citizens. We offer this prayer in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
City Clerk, can you please do roll call?
Commissioner Ludwig.
Here.
Commissioner Grunder.
Here.
Commissioner Howell.
Here.
Commissioner Miller.
Here.
Commissioner White.
Here.
I will now open nominations to elect your 2024-2025 mayor. Is there any nominations from the commission?
I nominate Commissioner Grunder.
Second.
Commissioner Grunder, are you willing and able to accept the nomination of mayor?
Yes, sir.
Great. I ask again, is there any other nominations for mayor for the 2024-2025 city commission? Hearing none, I will close nominations for mayor of the 24-25 city commission. City clerk, can you do a vote of the commission?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Congratulations. To you, Tristan.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Now, do we take vice before we move, or should we move
He does
now?
that. He does the
Okay,
nominations
you
for
do.
vice.
Okay.
Well, thank you all. I appreciate that. We will now take any nomination for vice mayor for 2024-2025.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to nominate Commissioner Andrew Miller for vice mayor.
Second.
Are you willing, sir, to take vice mayor?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And I ask again if somebody else wants it? Okay. Do we have any other nominations for vice mayor? Hearing none, we will close nominations. Will you vote, please?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Congratulations.
Congratulations,
You are vice
both of you
mayor.
guys.
Thank you guys very much.
I had this all organized. I don't know. Am I going here, Angela?
Oh, they do. They do.
How do we feel?
Ready to roll?
Ready to roll?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Commissioner Howell, now is your time to speak.
Oh, wow. I would just like to say thank you to the city of High Springs. I moved here in 2018, and my wife and I decided this is where we were going to raise our kids, and it's the most amazing place that we've been. My time in the military, we moved a lot, so being here in this time, going through this, it takes a community, and building this community together has really, really energized me to help lead this city in a positive way. Thank you, Miss Julie. I really appreciate it. And again, thank you to High Springs.
Well said. Okay, we'll move on to G. Citizen requests and comments for issues not on the agenda. Please state your name for the record. Limit comments to 5 minutes, please.
Julie Tapia Morano. I just wanted to say congratulations to Catherine Weeds, Chad Howell. We had a wonderful campaign. We learned a lot. We learned more about our citizens, and I'm so happy to be still a part of it. And to all the 1,300 who did vote for me, thank you very much. And I'm not done yet. We'll keep learning and doing more good things for the city of High Springs. Thank you again. Congratulations.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Mayor, Commission, my name is Tara Malone. I just wanted to speak. Catherine, I apologize, I don't have a history. I would still congratulate you. I know that's not an easy task, but in particular, I'm here for Chad Howell. I've had the distinguished honor and pleasure to work with him for over 10 years. And if there's one thing I'd say, it's a testament to his commitment. I know we're all familiar with the adage, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, it takes a village of men like him to raise. So, if we aren't here and we don't have that dedicated service, it's moot. He's mentioned himself, Marines, and then into law enforcement, as if that wasn't enough, now yet another public office. So again, I just think that the city of High Springs has great things on the horizon, and congratulations, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Jesse Sandusky. I'm here to congratulate Chad Howell. I've had the pleasure to be to work with Chad Howell in many different capacities. When he served at the police department in criminal investigations and school resource and many different capacities that I've had been able to work with him and collaborate with him. And I can honestly say that this man cares a lot. And when he cares about something, he cares a lot. And he puts a lot of effort into what he does. When I say he's passionate about certain things, that's certainly not an overstatement. He is passionate when it comes to what he believes in. So, and I can say that from many years of working with him, and I just want to say congratulations and well deserved.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Chief. Any more citizen comments? Okay. Any commissioner response? Okay, we'll move on to new business. First on new business, discuss, consider, and act on appointing the chair and vice chair to the CRA board.
Mr. Mayor, if I may.
Yes, sir.
I spoke to you at the last meeting that the CRA traditionally goes to the newest elected commissioner. As a former military member, I'm all about tradition. But we have a lot of changes going on in the CRA, and we have somebody who's very dedicated, Amy is very dedicated to CRA, and we need some continuity there. I've asked you to consider not putting a newest commissioner as that. Give Mr. Howell, or Commissioner Howell, a chance to learn what it is to be a commissioner and not straddle them with such a responsibility where they may not be as effective as a more seasoned commissioner. I'd just like you to take that in consideration when you make your nominations for chair.
Mr. Mayor, can I ask, is Commissioner Miller willing to stay in that position?
I have had the great honor of serving in that position, so I am more than willing to stay there. me and Amy have done a lot, so I would love to stay in that position.
I see Amy nodding vigorously back there, but yes. I think it'd be welcomed by both.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to nominate Commissioner Miller to stay in that position. I think Mr. Marshall's perspective is really valid.
I'm okay with it. I second that.
Okay. It's been properly moved and seconded. You're willing to do it. Fantastic. We will vote on it then. Any public comment on that?
Just Amy going like this.
Yes, yes. We'll note that for the record, for sure. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Unanimously. Congratulations. New business item 2.
Do we gotta
Discuss.
put in
Yeah,
a
vice
vice
chair.
chair?
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
vice
sorry, I'm
chair.
getting excited here.
Yeah.
Moving right along. Okay, do we have any nominations for a vice chair for the CRA?
I would like to nominate Commissioner Chad to vice chair.
Yes.
We need a second.
Second.
There we go. All right, it's been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor for Commissioner Howell to take on vice chair, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Now, new business item number 2. Discuss, consider, and act on appointing/reappointing members to the various city boards and committees. Do I do that? Somebody else do that?
So, you did, for Plan Board, I did put another application that came in, I think it was this morning, for Zachary Walters, for the Plan Board. And then you also have received, you have your current member whose term is up, who is willing to reserve. And then we have 2 other applications that we received, Julie Tapia-Riano and Justin Hancock for the Plan Board. And then for Parks, they both have requested to be reappointed. We did not receive, well, yes, we did. We received a few applications, 1 other application. Julie Tapia-Riano also applied to be on the Parks Board. And then we also will need to do the Mayor's Youth Council. And both current members whose terms are up have requested to be reappointed, but we also have a vacant position in the alternate position for the Mayor's Youth Council, and we received 1 application. But if you would when you make the motion, if you make them separate for each board.
Absolutely. We will start then with the Plan Board. That's the first one on here.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we retain Tim Bolliger on the Plan Board. He does an incredible job.
I could not agree more.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Do we need to do them both at the same time, or do you want to split them up one by one? Okay,
Can I ask a question?
absolutely.
Is there a reason why we don't have an alternate for our Plan Board, but every other board has an alternate?
It's not written in the ordinance for that to happen, so it would, no alternates are.
It's a good question, though. Maybe we could
I was wondering the
redo
exact same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we will, it's been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor of keeping Tim on the Plan Board, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Congratulations, he's retained. And we want to talk about the next spot. I believe, question that I was under the impression that Mr. Hancock has put in 3 times for the Plan Board, is what I was informed.
I don't know how many times he's put in.
Okay.
Is he here?
I don't know, is Mr. Hancock here?
No.
I did have somebody call me and tell me that he had put in 3 times previously to be on the Plan Board. And then looking at his resume, he has an extensive history working in the trades as well.
Is Zachary? I'm just trying to see who applied that is here. Just
Only
Julie.
Julie is here.
Okay.
Do we have any discussion about
I think we've an embarrassment of riches at our disposal here.
Yeah, I think whoever we choose, each candidate would be good because they have different viewpoints. Bringing in a woman in the mix would be a mix, because they don't have a woman on the board.
That's true.
Yeah, I think my only thing honestly would be, and this is no, Ms. Tapia-Ruana, this is no shot at you, but just coming off of the Charter Review Committee, part of me wants to open it up for new people who have put in, and if he's put in previously and not been able to get on there, it'd be nice to, he's obviously shown commitment by coming back and putting back in, and he's got 30 years in the area. He's a mechanical and plumbing contractor through the state of Florida, been in business over 12 years and has 25 years in the trades. That to me is extremely impressive, but all the people that have put in, I think, are more than qualified to be on this board. They've all been residents of High Springs for, I think Julie's got the same amount of time.
I go to, if I may, Mr. Mayor,
ma'am.
people who have been very actively involved. And I can at least say that Ms. Tapia-Ruana has been coming to meetings for at least a year. So she's pretty well plugged in. And, I would be remiss to say it wouldn't be nice to have, a different perspective. But Mr. Hancock, the various skill sets on that board is tremendous. And he would lend himself well to that as well, truly. I think any of these applicants would do the city great service.
I agree with both of y'all's comments. It's kind of hard to pick from one from the other, just from the commitment of being here in High Springs for our town.
Do we have any
motions?
motions? Any more conversation?
Well, I think with Bridlewood coming up, the workshop, we need someone that kind of knows what's going on. So I would nominate Miss Julie for the planning board.
I'll second that.
It's been properly moved and seconded for Ms. Tapia-Ruana to be a member of the planning board. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? I'm sorry, but aye. Okay. To the Parks and Rec, correct? And both would like to stay. Ms. Davis and Ms. Werner in the alternate position. And then we have a new applicant, Ms. Tapia-Ruana.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we retain Mrs. Davis and Dr. Werner on
I'll
the planning
second
board.
that. Second that.
And we can do both at the same time, even though we just did them separately? Perfect. We have been properly moved and seconded. Any comments from the audience? Okay. To retain Ms. Davis and retain Ms. Werner, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? We are retaining. And on to the Mayor's Youth Council. They have been doing a heck of a good job and are dedicated and working their behinds off. And I'm glad that we have a new applicant, and I see we have an alternate position in there. I know I can't make a motion, but
Oh,
I'd
Mr.
love to
Mayor,
see them stay.
it would be my honor to make a motion that we retain Camden Treese and Leila Seeley and add the very lovely Janelli Avila to the Mayor's Youth Council.
Second.
It's been properly moved and seconded. Any public comment? Okay. To retain Treese and Seeley and then add Avila as the alternate. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
Mr.
I'm
Ma-
excited to see what they got coming up. You gonna tell me a
This
little
might be an
about it?
appropriate time to let you know that there's a 6 a.m. call time on the 23rd of November for pancake breakfast. We've got all
6
kinds of
a.m.
stuff ready for you.
I hope you know how to cook.
They did a great job.
I'm a heck of a good chef, right, baby?
Yeah. And then there will be tutoring coming up after the first of the year on Wednesdays from 3:30 to 5 at the Douglas Center.
Okay, they are doing such a
Yeah,
good job.
they're great.
I still can't get over how well they did for September 11th, and they were just awesome. Okay, moving on to new business item 3. Discuss, consider, and act on authorizing the following personnel to sign checks and investment documents in compliance with Section 2-97 of the High Springs Code of Ordinances. Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Manager, and City Clerk.
If we could, when we make the motion for that, if you can make sure you put everybody's name in there, because I have to send that to the bank, and they require our name. So Mayor Tristan Grunder, Vice Mayor Andrew Miller.
Mr. Mayor, it's my honor to make a motion to authorize Mayor Tristan Grunder and Vice Mayor Andrew Miller to sign checks and investment documents, and the city manager, Jeremy Marshall, and the city clerk, Miss Angela Stone.
I'll second that.
You guys are funny.
You're going to learn so much. It's
I have no doubt.
stunning, stunning.
It has been properly moved and seconded. Do we have any public comment? Okay, all those in favor of letting us sign some checks, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? I almost said no right there. I just want you to know.
Negative, negative. You're going to love it.
All right, moving on, new business item 4. Discuss, consider, and act on the offer from Clay County to purchase the heavy rescue. And I know we have the Deputy Chief from Clay County in the audience. How are you, sir? Thank you for making the trip.
Mayor, City Commissioners, we have before you a proposal from Clay County to purchase our heavy rescue so that we can move into something more practical, something that'll better suit our city. So I do have a PowerPoint presentation to show you. So, wrong one, right? There we go. So a couple of facts and figures about the heavy rescue that Commissioner Howell might not know. It requires a 3-man crew that are all tech certified. Currently, we have 2 people within the organization that are tech certified. In order to send more personnel to get tech certified, we're looking at a bill of probably close to $60,000, $70,000, all in told, once we send enough personnel to be properly man that. We have 5 people on duty. Often we have minimum manning of 4. Once again, if we man that vehicle with 3 men or 3 personnel, that leaves one person. That leaves, if we have 4 men, that leaves 1 personnel back to man the engine, and we just can't afford to do that. Some stats from 6/14/23 to 12/12/23. We had 901 calls that were assigned to High Springs Fire Department. 2.1% of those calls were heavy rescue in nature. And of those 2.1%, the heavy rescue was canceled 57% of the time in response to those calls. So it's really not being utilized as a heavy rescue. And as a matter of fact, back in December, correct? In December of last year, that truck was downgraded to a squad. It was taken out of heavy rescue status because we just didn't have the personnel to man it as a heavy rescue. Next. Oh, sorry. I have it. Okay. Wrong way, sorry. There we go. Okay. The heavy rescue currently 37 feet long, 10 feet tall, 10 feet 10 inches tall, and 45,000 pounds. It's also 2-wheel drive. If you've driven around or you know anything about our roads and our road systems, there are some roads that we just can't get down with that heavy rescue. That heavy rescue runs the majority of the calls it runs are EMS in nature. And I can attest to on Tuesday, I was assigned to the heavy rescue trying to help with some overtime. And we had a call and we had to stop about 1.5 miles away from the house, wait for the ambulance to get there, or we actually started walking to the house. When the ambulance got there, they picked us up. We rode in with the ambulance. What that does is delay patient care. It makes it very difficult for us to get down some of these roads, and it's just way too big of a vehicle for what we need. What we're proposing to get, the new Squad 29, is only 27 feet long, 8 feet tall, and only 19,500 pounds, and it's a four-wheel drive vehicle. So that's what we're proposing on the new build. Okay, 10% of our calls, or 10% of all EMS calls in the last 14 days, were flagged that a brush truck was needed to take the call, causing another delay in response time because we have to take our medical equipment off the squad, put it on the brush truck, get in the brush truck, respond the brush truck to the call. That causes another delay in response. And that happened, 10% of the time. So, our proposed offer we have is from Clay County Fire Rescue, and I passed out I think the city manager passed out a new sheet with a breakdown of what the cost and everything was. Their offer is $740,000. I believe the last time we met and the last time we talked about the sale of the vehicle, we talked about somewhere in the $750 range, that we thought we might be able to, get about $750 for it. We purchased it in 2022 for $738,854, and the truck went in service in March of 2023. If you look at the spreadsheet that I have in front of you, the current payoff price is $642,635. That's going to change slightly. I just talked with Chief Voorhees, and he believes that they won't be able to complete the purchase until after December 15th. So we will still have to make the December payment on this vehicle, and then we would have to recoup from there. So that payoff price will decrease fairly significantly, but in turn, we're paying another $83,000 this December in order to be able to keep the vehicle. So, because they're not going to be able to get it done before December 15th. December 15th is the cutoff date. So there's some different numbers there. I think what it does is it will give us a net profit. And if I'm doing my numbers in my head right, with what they said the payoff would be after December 15th, it's about $175,000 that would come to the city in profit on that vehicle. So those numbers change. So the numbers you have here show the savings of not having to pay that $83,000. It's just going to roll into. It's going to lower the cost of the payoff. So it's kind of going to be a wash, per se. Which brings us to what we would like to replace it with. But I would like to get a consensus now first on whether selling this heavy at the cost that we have an offer on the floor for would be something that you guys would want to entertain. Because obviously we can't do anything unless we can't make any kind of other purchase. We can't even think about moving into anything else unless the sale goes through with this vehicle. So before we put the cart before the horse, I'd like to see what your comments are and what your thought process is on whether this would be a practical
Yeah, I think
sale for us.
I think it's reasonable. We'll break these two up. This part will be our discuss, consider, and act on selling a heavy rescue if that's what we go with, and then if we decide not to sell it, then we don't need to talk about a new one. You want us to decide tonight whether we're buying the new one?
I would like to move on that because there's certain things come January 1st, the cost of that vehicle is going to go up significantly more than what it already has. When we talked about it last time, we talked about around $260 or $255 for that vehicle. That vehicle is now increased to $280 that we want to replace it with. So, and we know that in January, there's going to be another increase because Wheeling is going up by 25% on their lighting packages and things. So, what's that? And the chassis and the price of the chassis will go up. We're fortunate that the chassis we had talked to you guys about to begin with. I'm sorry about. We are fortunate that chassis still is available.
Okay.
So that Chevy chassis is still available. So and they're willing to, let us go with that one too, so.
So two things.
Yes,
for
go
me.
ahead.
Up here, it says Chevy 550 on your purchase. It says a Ford F450. Is that the
That's, we'll get to that one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's,
second? You got a 4 to 6 month window of not having that vehicle.
that's where
What's
the,
plan?
that's where that 450 comes
Okay.
in, that Ford F450 comes in. Okay? We can put, and this is a reason why I've proposing that 450 as an interim truck to get us by until that build is done, until that build is complete. Because obviously if we sell the heavy, it's gonna disappear probably January 1st at the latest, I would imagine. We've already taken it out of service. We've already moved into the brush truck for now, so that we can make sure nothing happens to that truck. So we've taken it out of service and we're not using it currently unless we have to. We had a vehicle accident with a rollover earlier and we ran it for that because that's what it does. But moving into the brush truck is an option. The only problem is we're coming up on wildfire season. And with the hurricanes, the debris, everything that's going down, if we make that truck a first out truck for strictly medical calls, and hopefully not being used for a medical call, and we get a brush fire, we have a little bit of an issue. So we're proposing picking up another vehicle for an interim until until our build is done, and then that vehicle we can either turn around and sell again, or we can use it as a backup to our medium duty rescue. So this is the vehicle we're talking about. It's an F450 two-wheel drive. It's $35,000. It's got 14,000 miles on it. V6 gas. We've looked at it. We saw a video walk around of it today. It is immaculate. It is absolutely in pristine condition. It would definitely be able to serve beyond the interim time frame. It's just not quite. It's not quite what we need to use as a first run truck, but it can get us by until we get our first run truck. We do have a aging Tahoe that we use for medical standbys and things like that. That I'll be honest with you, I'm personally driving that truck right now, and it's almost on its last leg. It really is. So this truck could also, in the meantime, we can keep all of our first run trucks up in service when we do medical standbys like at BMX. We wouldn't have to take a piece of apparatus that's first out over to the BMX track to do a standby for their standbys and things like that. We'd have a vehicle to do that in because we hire overtime to do those. So it could also use as a complement to the heavy rescue. We could carry a little bit more equipment on between the two of them, and if we had some kind of technical anything that we needed to respond to, we could just split crews and respond both of those trucks and still be able to do that.
Wasn't part of the issue with some of the vehicles is during the storm they weren't four-wheel drive?
Yeah, that's the heavy. The heavy's not four-wheel drive, and you're not going to get that down any of the dirt roads.
Right.
This is significantly lighter. It's two-wheel drive, but it's significantly lighter than the heavy. I mean, I'm not sure what the gross vehicle weight on that. I know, but it's a whole lot less than the heavy rescue is.
Chief, what about the other truck that got damaged in the hurricane? Is it still operable, or has it been taken out of service?
The tanker truck, it is still
Yeah.
operable. We've repaired it to a point where we can use it. We're working with the insurance company right now in 10-8. We actually did get our insurance money back on that, and we're working on getting that repaired and getting it fixed and ready to go. That truck does have a little bit of electrical issues we're noticing now, where it's idling wrong. So we're working on addressing those also. But that's we're working on with 10-8 to get that the fiberglass on the hood and the fenders fixed on that. So, but it is still inoperable. It's still operable. We actually used it the last 3 days for training over at St. Madeline's. So.
Okay, question. So
Yes,
you
ma'am.
said
Yes, sir.
the payment in December is how much?
The payment in December is going to be $83,555.36.
And how many more payments we have of that?
We have like 9 more payments.
All right,
Is it 8 or 9 more payments?
So 2 payments, that's $150, right? All right, but if we went with the new truck, which is $280, We took back the profit, which is 160. We'll be at 120. Add 35, that's 155. So that's almost 2 payments of what we would make. So it's a no-brainer to me.
It's going to be about one. If we go with this truck, with this interim truck, and we go with the new build, with the profit we get back from the, if we use the profit from the heavy to do those 2 vehicles, we'll have we'll need 134,079 all in total once we pay for those. We'll have $134 worth, $134,000 worth of debt to do those.
So the heavy, what's the lifespan of that vehicle?
Lifespan of the heavies probably should be 20 years, because most trucks like that should have about a 20-year lifespan. But for the purpose we're using it for, we'll be lucky to get 10 years out of that truck, honestly.
This medium, are we gonna have to replace it before 10 years?
I wouldn't think so. I would think that would last us good 15 years, maybe 20 on that one also. And then when we got ready to replace that, we could take the body off of that, put it on a new chassis, rather than buy a whole nother vehicle. We could refurb it. We can just replace the chassis on it instead of replacing the whole body and everything.
So with this 134, and Jeremy, you might be able to answer that, or Diane, what is our payment if we kept this truck today and we don't go through this sale? What are we going to pay out for 2025 for the heavy rescue?
Yes, the annual payment for the heavy rescue is about $83,000. I don't want to call out something that's a discrepancy in the middle of a meeting, but there's a piece of this that's missing. So on the spreadsheet, it shows that we have fiscal year 25 budgeted cost of payment savings of $88,555. My understanding now is that because they won't be able to purchase it prior to December 15th, we won't have that savings. So we really are looking at closer to $220,000 that we're going to need. So I just wanted to clear that up because.
Mr. Mayor.
Sir.
So I talked to you all during our one-on-ones about this truck. The information I gave you changed drastically. I was not aware that this sale was not going to be done by December 15th. So what you're seeing is inaccurate information, and I don't like that. So we have a couple options that I would recommend. One, you guys can still decide what to do with the heavy rescue. Do you want to sell it? You guys are getting a little bit ahead as far as what we're going to replace it with and whatnot. But what I don't like is, I told you we need to sell it, and that's why we're bringing it up on it tonight, is we got to get it sold by December 15th, or we got to make that $83,000 payment. It looks like we're going to have to make that anyway. Part of that's going to go to interest. So it's not going to pay down $83,000. It'll pay down, I don't know, $60,000, for example. I work hard to try to get you guys correct data so you guys can make the best decisions. There's we're under a big time crunch, but what I don't want is you to make a decision off of data that you're not comfortable with. So if you decide you want to sell the heavy rescue or keep it, that's fine. You can make that decision tonight. And I think these numbers gives you a fairly accurate picture. Then we can decide what we want to do as far as a replacement after this. However, if you don't have enough information or you're not comfortable with the information that's been presented to you, I implore you to table it and for more discussion and more data. I don't like it because we got to get this sold. I know Clay County wants it. I mean, I don't want to say we got to get it sold. If you sell it, we're under a time crunch. What I don't want is you making an informed decision. So if you feel like you do not have enough information, I implore you to table it.
If you look in your agenda packet, there's a confidential sanitaire paper there. That payoff amount, that $549,495.06, that is what the payoff would be if we made our December payment. So that payment goes from, on the spreadsheet, it's what, $642.635. If we make the December payment, the payoff will now be $549,495.06.
Diane, do you have your spreadsheet?
I do. I
prefer, since we have differing information, that perhaps we regroup, like you said, before we talk about it, because otherwise we're all going to be doing math at the podium, and that is my number one rule
Yeah,
not to do.
I'm not comfortable.
Okay.
I'm not digging this.
We're meeting next week.
We're meeting next week.
Would that be enough time?
But we have the deputy chief. I'd still like to hear from the deputy chief on whatnot, but chief, it may take another week. I can't put I big about my stamp of guarantee on it. I can't do it.
Yeah,
So-
we didn't know coming into this meeting that it was going to be after December 15th until I spoke with Chief this evening, and he said he can't get it on his commission meeting agenda until probably December 12th. Chief, come on up if you don't mind, sir.
Please do.
Hey,
I
Chief
talk
Peters,
to you,
you-
everybody. I talk to you every week or every other week, and I tell you, get your questions in early because I need time to look at the data we're going to give you. And I promised you all along, I will not give you inaccurate data. I get that this just changed, and I told you these numbers could change drastically. I was upfront about
Yeah,
that.
absolutely.
But this is a very drastic change in events, and I implore you to really think about where you're going.
Okay. Hey, no pressure.
Good evening. Yes, Jason Borey, Deputy Fire Chief, Clay County Fire Rescue. Take your time. We're not going anywhere. The offer still stands. If you need to take a week, crunch the numbers, get the data to where you're comfortable with it, completely understand that. December 10th is actually the date. I looked it up on the calendar. That's our first commission meeting in December. We only have the one because the second one would fall on Christmas Eve. My thought, just knowing our process and how our purchasing department works and everything, it may not see them until the first commission meeting in January, which is the 7th, I think, somewhere in there. So we've got time. If you need to take another week, make your decision. I'll be happy to drive down again next week. It's not a problem. But I want y'all to feel comfortable with your decision as well. So my presence here is not to rush or anything like that. So, and I'm happy to answer any questions or anything from our side. But other than that, whatever makes you guys comfortable.
Well, has your folks already committed to accepting the fire truck?
Informally, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So they
It
still have
has
yet
to
to
go
vote.
through our process. The fire chief's already discussed it with our procurement division, with the county manager and a few of the commissioners, but it would still have to go through the formal process. We don't see any roadblocks on our side.
Okay.
I don't think a week is going to hurt either side. We would probably be in the same position and want to take the same actions that you're faced with wanting to be comfortable with the numbers.
Absolutely, yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Chief.
Yep.
So to move forward, to help me and staff out, I don't try to steer the commission, but I'm gonna make a suggestion. If you so decide to table it, I still think we should have the discussion about the replacement, so that way I have better numbers of what your direction will be. So next week, we could say, this is what it looks like, and I give you better numbers, instead of saying, do we wanna buy a used truck, do we wanna buy a new build, whatnot. I still think we need to talk about what you wanna do if you so decide to sell it. I know if you table it, we're making no commitment, Chief, we're making no commitment until next week. But for me to help get you numbers to make that decision, I still would like clear guidance on what you wanna do about the replacement.
Well, that's what I want to talk to Chief. My question was, last time we talked about all this and you had a game plan, you were confident that you had everything worked out far as covering calls and all that.
We do.
I'm not so sure I like this idea just because of the money.
Okay.
If we don't go this route with the temporary truck,
We'll
you're
put
still
the,
confident we're going to cover all our calls.
we'll put the brush truck in service as the
I mean, that's still game plan is still on.
yeah, that's still going to be the game plan if we don't purchase that other truck. The only difference is in the more I think about putting the brush truck into service like that, with wildfire season coming up, we have an awful lot of debris still laying around and things like that. We could run into an issue if that truck is on a medical call and taking care of a medical patient. They can't clear to try to respond to that brush fire. Also, when we put the crew into that truck, you do lose somewhat of a level of service because it doesn't carry the equipment outside of just medical equipment. It's just now just a medical truck and a brush truck. So that's the only reason why we had considered this, because it has more capabilities and it can get us by until our new build is done. Plus, we don't lose level of service.
Does anybody have, I don't even know if this is like a thing, does anybody have a truck we can borrow or rent?
We thought about that.
Or kind of, work out a trade with, or Clay County's here, how are you? See what we're looking for. Need about 6 months out of something, I'm just saying.
I've been trying to work those options for this truck and for an engine. And it's my apologies that we came to you with numbers that aren't completely correct. We came into this thinking that we were going to be able to get this done before December 15th. And once I found out tonight that we weren't going to be able to get it done before December 15th, that kind of changes the numbers. So my apologies for that. I actually have all those numbers put together too. I just don't have them with me.
Well, I will say, I don't think $35,000 is a bad price for that vehicle.
No, it's actually a very
I would
reasonable
jump on that in
price.
a heartbeat if we physically needed that truck today.
Right.
That's an awesome price. I kind of hate to bypass it, but.
For something that's immaculate and it
Yeah.
could get us by for 4 to 6 months until the other one is built.
But you're thinking about keeping it anyway, right?
Well, yeah,
For
we would
another
keep it
truck.
as a supplement to our fleet, and probably we might even consider surplusing the Tahoe that we have, because that thing is just it's falling apart.
So,
Well, we have
So
talked
what-
about that Tahoe ad nauseum, and I've never heard anybody say a nice thing about it.
that Tahoe's on the way out.
Well, with that being said, what I would like to have by next week is numbers with that truck
With that truck.
Yeah.
and the new truck.
Concrete.
And the-
Because it's apparently we gonna have issues if we don't do something,
Yeah.
even with this temporary truck. It sounds like it needs to be in our fleet.
I think it's a good move.
Yes.
I think this truck is a good move, because that Tahoe is the backup right now. And if you haven't been in that Tahoe, give us a call. I'll walk you over there and you can look at this
I
Tahoe.
get a headache going home
You
every
would
night.
not- You would not want our staff in that Tahoe. It's in rough shape.
Well, let's have some numbers and
But
get.
if you go to replace that Tahoe, you're gonna spend more than $35,000.
Oh, absolutely, you're right.
I think this is a better replacement option, but we will get the numbers drawn. We will do it with the truck and with this 35,000 truck. We'll give you numbers with it and without it, so you can see both sides. And you can make a good decision.
How soon, if we went this route, can we get that truck?
We
going?
could have it tomorrow if you got decided on it tonight.
So if we
we
sell
talked
the
to
heavy
this-
rescue,
Mhm.
we can put this in service till we can get the new.
Yeah, if we sell the heavy rescue and we have a solid commitment on the heavy rescue, once we obtain the funds from the heavy rescue, we could get that in a day. It's in Hollywood, Florida.
To make it easier, I have a contingency. I could take 35 grand out of my contingency. We can have that truck tomorrow. If you guys were telling me that I don't want to do it if we're going to keep the heavy. Actually, I still would probably recommend it, because that Tahoe's on the way out. I can buy that truck, and then if you decide to buy or sell the heavy, when the monies come in, we'll replenish my contingency fund. If you decide not to sell the heavy, I'll eat the 35 grand, because we need something. I can buy that truck.
So if we have this truck,
I don't know if Angela's gonna let me do that procedurally, because that's not on the agenda to buy this truck. But by next week, we can have it on the agenda as an option, and if you don't like it, we can scratch it from the agenda. That better, Angela?
It's for sale, it's for sale everywhere right now?
It's in Hollywood.
They have a lot of bites on it?
They're holding it.
Oh.
We talked to him today. He
They're
said
so
they're not. He said they'd be willing to hold it and they don't need a deposit.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, I wanted to clarify what the initial plan was in transitioning from the heavy rescue to the medium rescue. So when we started this process, the assumption was that we would, once the truck was sold, we would have that down payment, before the truck was sold, we would have the down payment on the chassis, and the construction would be ongoing while we were attempting to sell the truck. And once that truck was sold, based on our thought process of, okay, we could probably sell the truck within, 1 to 2 or 3 months, at that point, the construction, looking at that time, in August of a 4-month build time, the idea was that whomever we sold it to knew that the truck would be available in early 2025. So it was billed as a truck that is available in early 2025. Even if we consummated the sale now, they knew that we would hold on to the truck until we moved into the new truck. So there was no need for an interim vehicle. But when that shifted away, and rightfully so perhaps, of not feeling comfortable putting a down payment until we absolutely knew we had a buyer, that kind of shifted things around a little bit, and that got us looking at other options aside from a new build. So one of the members of the truck committee, which again, all these decisions are based on the truck committee. It's not the chief, it's the members of the truck committee and the guys that are on this truck every single day. One of the members of the truck committee found this truck in Hollywood, and we have had several conversations with the seller. We've seen several pictures. We actually did a video chat with most of the committee today and this gentleman, looking through the truck, looking at the chassis, and if necessary, we're going to have somebody drive down to Hollywood this weekend to actually put eyes on it, including a retired deputy chief from that area who is personal friends with one of our members who is also willing to look at it for us. So I just kind of wanted to clarify what we were looking at with the timeline and where we thought things would match up. So with a little bit of a speed bump now, it's kind of, okay, we need to come back and punt, and, you know, is the brush truck the best option, or is there something else to get us by? When this truck presented itself, it's almost a mirror image of what we're looking to build anyway. It's a little bit smaller. It's a 9-foot rescue body as opposed to a 12-foot rescue body. It's a single cab rather than a double cab. But again, for something to get you by for the 4 or 5, 6 months, and any of the equipment that, you know, would not properly fit on the medium, which will be very little, but we know there's going to be a little bit, then we can put that onto this backup truck. And again, whether it's an off-duty person coming in the event of a serious situation, or it's myself or the chief who drives your extra toolbox down to you, and now you also have a backup for when the Chevy, the new Chevy build would go in for PM or something like that. You bring it down to the yard, hey, we'll have it done for you, but it's going to be 24 to 48 hours. There's your backup. You roll into it right away.
What is our contingency? Are we able to use the heavy rescue for these few months if we agree to sell it next week? Is it going to be at our disposal, or are we shutting it down?
We're able to use it, but I've made the decision to put the Cruise into the brush truck right now because I don't want anything to happen to the vehicle. We're using it currently for things that it would need to be used for, like vehicle accidents. We just had a vehicle accident on 441, a vehicle rollover. That is one of those instances where we might have needed some of that equipment off of that truck, so we did respond to that call. But it's only going to be responded to calls that are that type of nature, that are that serious in nature.
Okay.
So for the most part, it's gonna stay parked until we make this sale, because if we're this close to making the sale, I don't want anything to happen to this truck.
I agree with you.
You know, I don't want them to, you know, so that's our plan right now. So we are in the brush truck right now. We're running in a brush truck right now, but it's not exactly the most practical thing to do.
So like I said, to move this forward, we're gonna run you numbers with the new build, what we're replacing the heavy with, and then we'll give you the option of this truck, and you can weigh out, is it worth it or is it not? I'm advocating for it. Just make my stance known. I'm advocating. I think this truck is a much better backup than that Tahoe. It's gonna last a lot longer than that Tahoe. It's a better truck. It does nothing but positive things for $35,000. If it's in service for 5 years, that costs us $7,000 a year for this truck. But to move this forward, you will have 2 sets of data. What the truck will be sold for if you accept Clay County, the new build. We will call the bank and get an estimate of what the payment will be, so you can compare it from that $83,000 payment to what the payment will be, so that way you have all the data to make your decision. I think I have a clear idea of what you'd want to do for replacement if you so decide to choose to sell it. If you have any other suggestions, you know, something different for replacement, give me a call if we can discuss it throughout the week. But the move, because it's gotta be, we gotta decide something next week, or, because we don't have another meeting, we have one meeting in December, keep that in mind.
I do want somebody to put eyes on this from our house before we decide.
Can we get him down this week?
That'll happen this weekend. He's already
We
agreed.
We can do that, and they come back and they're comfortable, and they've got pictures, and just to make sure that.
No, definitely. That's the
to know that
reason.
we're comfortable.
That's the reason why we decided, I know you guys had been talked about about a white truck with green stripes on it. Did y'all, were talked about that? We looked at another truck up in Pennsylvania, but it's a northern truck, and salt,
Yeah.
rust.
Yeah.
We had to back off of that one.
Yeah.
So,
Well, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to table this till next week.
Second.
Been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor to table, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Any citizen comment on that?
Mr. Mayor,
just
can I
ran right
add,
past
can I
that.
ask for one thing?
Yeah.
I would love to see the calls for service compared, heavy rescue compared to the medium rescue. We're gonna lose some services. I would like to see what those are gonna be.
Absolutely.
We'll have that for you at the next meeting.
Thank you, sir.
Kevin, could we get that by the next meeting?
The presentation, we're really not gonna, between the heavy and the medium, we're not really gonna lose any level of service, because the majority of the equipment that is currently on the heavy rescue will be on the new medium-duty rescue. Now, when it comes to, actually, either one of the trucks, because we're building that medium-duty rescue to accommodate most of the equipment that's currently on the heavy. So you're really not going to lose any level of service by moving down to the medium-duty rescue. As a matter of fact, you're probably going to be increasing your level of service because it'll be able to get to more residences than that heavy rescue can.
Time response is gonna be so much better.
Yeah, and response time will be better. Fuel costs will be a lot better. There'll be a lot of positives to moving to a medium-duty rescue.
A key thing
So-
that we will lose, Commissioner Howell, is on the heavy rescue, there's a cascade system. You familiar with a cascade system is? Okay, so it fills the air tanks. We won't have that on the medium rescue, but we have never used that cascade system in High Springs. It's only been called out twice, Kevin?
Kevin can respond to that.
Kevin, twice for the cascade system. So in my head, that cascade system we've never used in High Springs. And if we did need a cascade system, there's other resources out there that could come to us.
We have a cascade system in our fire station too.
Good evening, I'm Captain Pearson. I could comment a little more with that. So we do have a Mako system at the fire department that we can fill up on site. Basically, the Cascade's mobile air. And this past year, I know of 2 times it's been used on actual calls. There is a Heavy 23 from Alachua. They are the heavy that would go for the county. They do have air on it. I don't think it's a definite requirement to have a mobile air system, and the bottles have to be, they're DOT, they have to be hydrostatically tested, so does the whole Cascade system. It's basically a blast box, and 2 times in the last year that we know of that it's been used for air. Some of the other equipment, and I understand it may look like it's a decrease in service, but it's definitely not. It definitely outweighs the benefits outweighs everything else with having that smaller truck. Most of the equipment's going to fit. We have 2 sets of hydraulic tools, spreaders, cutters, rams on the heavy. We have a set on the engine. Engine 21 in Alachua, which is going to supplement us on any major call, they have a set on that vehicle. So we can take our spare set off the heavy and replace our aging ones that are almost out of service on the engine. And we'll still have 2 sets of relatively new hydraulics, which I believe the 2 sets were around $60,000. So we won't have to purchase another set if we use what we already have. We have ladders on the engine. Every engine is required to have a minimum of 3. We have that on the engine. We have that on our tanker. So having the 3 giant ladders on a heavy and possibly going down to maybe one extension ladder or a little giant foldable one. I don't think I think it's not something that's important enough where we're gonna be missing any calls. We have 50-ton bottle jacks, 2 of them. We have 2 floor jacks. We have a lot of equipment. The few things that won't fit on the medium, I really don't think it's not gonna delay any service, and I really don't think we're gonna miss any calls because of it.
Okay. Thank you, Captain. Thank you, Chief.
Thanks.
I like it. Okay, moving on to item 5. Discuss, consider, and act on the continuation of the organizational liaison.
I can speak to this one. This was an item that I requested to put on the agenda. I know when we first put this position in, the commission put it in without the knowledge of the chamber. The chamber knew that it was going to be up there, but there was no, recommendations from the chamber or anything. The commission appointed it without any action of what the chamber wanted. So at the time, I felt like maybe the position was needed because we had a city manager that felt she was not communicating well with the chamber. But now we have a city manager that meets with the chamber on a regular, and the position is no longer needed. I've been a sitting commissioner for a year now, and Sue Weller has not once made a presentation of what the chamber is doing. So I don't know how the need for the position anymore.
Mr. Mayor, if I may, if there's a need for the liaison, I think that should be between the chamber and the city manager. I don't think that's within the city commission's purview. So I would make a motion that the city commission tap out of this conversation entirely and leave it between, operations at the city level and the chamber.
Mr. Mayor, I disagree. This position was created by the commission to increase communication and to assist the commission or the chamber in dealing with helping go through the bureaucracy of the city. We're a bureaucracy. I've told you all, I really don't have an opinion either which way on which to go. If you so decide to keep the liaison, that's a resource and that's a tool, and I have used it one time in the last 7 months. I have called Ms. Weller. And this is not a surprise to Ms. Decker, who's here in the audience. I had some concerns about the chamber. She's the liaison. I sat down with her. She conducted herself very professional and reacted to it. However, I think it could be another cog to slow things down. I implore I feel the communication between me and Ms. Decker is way better than what you've seen in the past. And I don't know if we need another intermediary. However, it is a resource and a tool, so whatever you decide, I'm going to be great either way. But I disagree. If the commission created the liaison, there was a need, there's a point for it. If it's to be dissolved, I think the commission needs to dissolve it.
I don't know that the commission did create that, though. I served previously, and then Commissioner Jones served previously. It wasn't voted on.
It was
kind
needed
of
by Ashley. Ashley felt
It was
like
kind
she
of a
needed
casual thing that the commission was not involved with, so.
That's fine.
We were involved only in the most recent iteration, and I just don't think that we need to be.
That's fine.
I remember it coming up, and it was because the former management had expressed to us that they were not working well. And they didn't point fingers or anything else, but they said they weren't working well. And whether that's true or not, I don't know. I've never had an issue with the chamber. They've always been professional and done exactly what they always said they promised they were going to do. But yeah, I remember it was brought up, and that was an issue. I would agree that if we are not having any communication issues at the time, and the flow of communication is going back both ways, then if the position is not needed, I am for getting rid of it if things are working well.
Well, I can tell you, I just learned of this when I picked my packet up. I didn't even know we had this process. So I'm not in agreement of keeping it. If Ms. Decker is going to be our chamber, she needs to be the one bringing stuff to us.
We're
and communicating
growing.
with the city manager.
When I went through and I was interviewing for this position, I sat down with Ms. Decker prior to the meet and greet, and the main thing I construed from that meeting was there was no communication. I think Ms. Decker and I have made a commitment to each other to increase it. There are some growing pains. I do have concerns, but I have shared them with Ms. Decker, and I think we could fix them. Yeah.
Well, I guess, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we dissolve the liaison position and revisit if needed, if Mr. Marshall and the chamber think it's needed, but yeah, I think they're doing great together, and it just adds another level.
I second that.
Okay. Absolutely, sir. You thought I was gonna skip it again. I was gonna do it right this time. This is the only one I was gonna do it right on, though. I decided.
Congratulations, Commissioner Howell. I
Thanks,
haven't
sir.
met you yet, but anyway, my name is Lanier Smith. I'm with the High Springs Lions Club. And I'm really confused. I think a lot of this topic tonight came from a former commission at a time where there was a lot of just a lot of turmoil up here. If you're not aware already, we are making a lot of strides in my club, myself personally, for over 15 years of commitment to the city, to be engaged with the city a little more closely. And first of all, Ms. Sharon Decker is a fine woman. She's a Christian woman. She's a volunteer. Nobody up here pays her a salary for anything she does. Myself, I know more about fundraising and working together in a community than anybody on the board. I've come up here several times and said, if you need something, if we can help, please let me help you. But one thing that I'm really irritated with, I'm not a good speaker, but this has been clawing at me for quite some time. I want everybody to leave that woman alone. I really do. If she needs something, she can call me, I'll help her. All right? Let's learn to work together, not against one another. All right? It's not on the agenda tonight, but we can go into the farmer's market too. Okay? I'm a service person for this community. I have a full-time job. I can handle anything you throw my way. Don't worry about the mule, load the wagon. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Jones. Congratulations, Commissioner Howell.
Thank you.
And to Commissioner Weiss. My name's Linda Jones. I sent a video clip to commissioners and city manager of the City Commission meeting March 23rd, 2023, wherein the commission discussed and approved a liaison for the chamber. The chamber did not request this. In fact, opposed it. Sue met with Ashley, commissioners, which led to the subject being added to the agenda. The city manager should have discussed, and this is the previous city manager, I will say, the city manager should have discussed with the chamber before arbitrarily putting on the agenda requiring the chamber to attend. My comments are as follows. Mayor James and Commissioner Grundler questioned that no one from the chamber was present. Typically, when Sharon stood at the podium, she felt uncomfortable with the tone used. I, as secretary of the chamber, offered to speak, as did others, but Sharon did not want to cause trouble. She is a person who always wants to get along, does not want conflict. Ashley misspoke when she said that Sharon appointed her own liaison without discussing with her. I personally spoke with Ashley and Bruce in a meeting, thinking it would be a good idea to hear what Sharon was thinking and bring them in a shortened conversation. They very much agreed and approved. Ashley also said that the liaison would be involved with all capacities of the chamber. This is inappropriate. The chamber is a separate entity and needs no one to oversee their business and report back to the city. Catherine and I simply passed on happenings and how to work together. No involvement with day-to-day operations. If you listen to Ross, you can easily see that he has no regard for Sharon. He has harassed her in meetings, publicly accused Sharon of not paying appropriate taxes. The chamber paid for an audit, which proved that the account is in good standing. There were questionable issues noticed prior to Sharon's tenure, but she wanted to move forward, not look back. Bear in mind that Sharon is not paid. She volunteers her time, keeps the chamber open 4 days a week, gets many questions about where to eat, shopping preferences, where the springs are and if they're open, and prepares and attends events, just to name a few. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Okay. So we have a motion on the floor and we have a second. And that motion and that second is to remove the liaison position until it's needed in the future, and that will be decided by the city manager and Ms. Decker. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Unanimous. Oh, she's got to fly, legitimately. Well, congratulations again. Have a good night. Travel safely, please. Okay. And moving on to new business item number 6, discussion and direction on ordinance to regulate public camping and public sleeping.
So, Mr. Mayor, oh, actually, never mind. Yeah.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And Commission. Today, we're here to discuss the implementation of a new state law prohibiting public camping or sleeping on any public property, building, or public right-of-way. This was enacted by Governor Ron DeSantis on March 20th, 2024. So this law takes effect on October 1st, 2024, with a 90-day grace period for cities to prepare and enact their own ordinances to address this issue locally. The intent behind this law is to maintain public safety and accessibility in shared spaces, ensuring that sidewalks, parks, and public buildings remain available and safe for all citizens to use. As you know, unregulated camping can create safety hazards, sanitation concerns, and potential conflicts, which this law seeks to mitigate. The grace period provides an opportunity to thoughtfully design and implement an ordinance that aligns with our city needs while respecting the broader legislative framework. By adopting a clear, enforceable ordinance, our city will be positioned to address these challenges proactively, balancing the safety and accessibility of our public spaces with compassion and awareness of individual need. So it's incumbent upon us to now move forward in drafting and implementing an ordinance to maintain public order, to uphold safety, and continue fostering a welcome environment in all public spaces. You have before you, I believe, a sample ordinance. And this ordinance, for the consequences for a person that doesn't comply, is basically fines, warnings, trespass. And as we know, after trespass, there could be a criminal trespass. We're not, wanting to imprison or arrest folks. We certainly would try to explore resources for people, whether it be for mental health or social services to get some compliance. But this is something that we have to move forward or would be liable come January 1st.
So what you have before you is the rough draft of a proposed ordinance. Need you kind of take a look at it and redline it, because we have to get it to the attorneys again, because come January, we're liable if we don't have it. It has to be 2 readings of it because it's an ordinance. So keep in mind, we only have 1 meeting in December. So you have next meeting and for the first reading, and the second meeting will be in December If we're not gonna be in compliance, and we leave ourselves very vulnerable. So I ask that you take a look at it. I don't think you need to do it tonight. I think you can look at it over the weekend. Give me a call Monday with any changes. So I'll probably call each of you Monday morning to see if you have any changes, so we can get it over to the attorney, so we can have your proposed changes into it, so we can get the first reading. Is that acceptable, Chief?
I know some of the cities, including Gainesville, are looking at this. I tried to reach out to them. I think they're having their meeting on the 21st. So we are moving a little fast.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, very much interesting in Gainesville, not here. But we are moving fast, and I don't like to move fast on things, but we can move with this, and if we need to make some changes in the future, we can do that if we feel like it's not effective, what we have.
Thank you, Chief. I'm a huge proponent of this. It's been a long time.
Absolutely.
It's been a long time overdue, and
Absolutely.
I'm glad the governor went ahead and finally did something and threw it down. So I'm extremely happy to this. I'm very happy that I saw this on the agenda.
Absolutely.
And thank you for getting it to us, and the attorney's office for getting it to us so quickly.
Absolutely.
So, Chief, there's stages of the fines. In most of these cases, we're probably not getting payment in
No.
those fines.
No, we're not.
I don't want it to become criminal either, but what happens after we're not paying? If he doesn't pay the fines, what
So our first alternative is really to push on getting people the resources that they need, and that's the first thing we do. So, and if they're not accepting of that, then we have to move to the next step. So that's warning. We probably most likely wouldn't be fining people. We're going to give you a warning. We're going to move you on, and then if you don't accept the services, the next step is to trespass. We're going to move you from that locality, and then if you come back, then absolutely you're going to be criminally charged with criminal trespass.
Thanks, sir.
And the good thing is that we don't have a ton of folks in our area that,
No.
we have one person stagnant in downtown, and then we have a few people in the outlying areas of private property. So this does not apply to them in that aspect. So, but we want to go beyond this one person, maybe in the future, with other folks that come stagnant in our area.
Absolutely, sir. Have we talked to him already and let him know?
Constantly. And we are right now reaching out to the Veterans Affairs. I actually got an email today, so we're going to let them try to go out and speak with them and try to outsource some information. We're going to keep trying.
Good deal.
I will say, when Chief worked on this, he's adamant in his department, it echoes with his officers, resources.
Yeah.
Let's solve the problem, let's get compliance. We don't want to go down any of this road. We're just hoping to get help. However, well, half the board here now knows, a lot of time, I don't know the term now, homeless people,
You can say that. We're welcoming.
okay, I don't remember the correct term anymore.
Unsheltered.
I don't mean.
Unsheltered.
Unsheltered.
Houseless. I've heard 'em all.
Unsheltered people
Neighbor.
are not open to help. But we will still, as a city, continually strive to increase our toolbox of resources to help these people come into compliance. And if they're refusal, then
Absolutely.
we'll have to move to other things. But
Absolutely.
Chief and the attorneys put a lot of hard work into this ordinance. So I will be around all weekend. I'm not doing anything. I'm not doing anything. So if you got questions over the weekend, give me a call. Chief, I don't think is going anywhere this weekend. If I have a question,
24/7
I
as a
can
cop.
give him a call. We can hash this out over the weekend, but I would like to have it Monday by lunch to the attorneys. We gotta give them as much time to make the changes. So expect a phone call Monday morning from me.
More than reasonable.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
So with that being said, the December meeting would be the second meeting on it, okay?
More than in compliance.
If something happens that we can't do it, the second reading and passing of the ordinance, we will probably have to have a special meeting before
Yeah.
the end of January. It falls into the holiday time.
I would
So that's,
definitely need notice on the second meeting.
Yes.
Because it has to be advertised at least 10 days prior.
yes, so
We should know. that
Call
by
me.
I
by
was gonna
next
say, I think pretty much
Thursday we'll
everybody
know.
is on board.
call me with questions over the weekend. Anything you want to change, I will be in contact with Chief I could even set up a conference call with us over the weekend if you want to hash some of this out.
Yeah.
Monday by noon is when I'm going to put it to the attorneys.
Yeah, I mean, it's not about if we're gonna do it, we have to do it.
Yes, we
It's
have
about
to. What it looks
What's
like.
the language look like?
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
You can tell in Gainesville what y'all are dealing with. I see it moving into Lotchaway. It's eventually gonna keep coming
Yep.
further out.
We've got to give them those tools, so I say make it as stringent as possible, but that's, Chief, that's my opinion. I want to give you all the teeth you need.
Legislative body, and that's what I follow.
That's
You know,
right.
I give you my recommendation, that's what we follow.
Perfect. Thank you, Chief. Okay, do we have any public comment on this? We're not voting on anything on this, we're just hearing it out. Okay? That's all for the new business. City Attorney report update, sir?
Yes, do not have a report, however, I would like to remind the commission, in particular Mr. Howell, that we have our annual 4-hour ethics compliance for commissioners. Mr. Miller, I believe, attended last year.
I'm always at them.
It's
I
on
love them.
December the 18th, starting about 4 o'clock. There'll be 4 hours of presentation by the staff, and then food and dinner served, so we'd like to encourage all of you to come, and then you would comply with your 4-hour requirement at one time.
I believe I already have a seat.
I'll see you there. I go every year. Like to keep Danielle on her toes. I don't know what anybody said, but I'm sure it was about me. Moving on to city manager report and update.
One item. So you should have this sheet from the Florida League of Cities in front of you. If you don't, I have an extra one. Here, Mayor, just take mine.
I have it buried in all the other
What this
papers.
is actually, what this is a training for newly elected officials in their first term. And it's a 2-day, and it's usually held down south. However, this year it's in Gainesville. So it's a 2-day training. It goes over, really gets you off to a good start as a commissioner. I've heard nothing but great things about this institute. As we have 3 out of the 5 commissioners in your first term, I think it'd be a great thing for you to consider going to and really learning, getting a head start on what it learns to be a commissioner. And if you want to go to it, get a hold of Ashley Molden in my office. She'll take care of all the details for you. She doesn't know that yet, but she will. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, real quick, went to a few Veterans Day events this weekend. Some great events out there. I really would like to highlight former Commissioner Byron put on a great, or his team put on a great event at the Douglas Center. Games, well attended. Just a really, I go every year to veteran ceremonies. This was one of the best ones I've been to in a long time. Hats off to everybody that did a Veterans Day. Thank you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, moving on to commissioner comments and concerns. Commissioner Howell, we'll start with you.
I would just like to say thank you again. It's an honor to sit up here and serve this great city, and I look forward again to moving in a forward path. So, thank you.
Commissioner Bloodsworth?
Yes, sir. I was wondering if you had any update on the Boy Scout hut this week. Have you heard anything?
We got the initial insurance adjustment back. It's a horrible adjustment. It won't even replace your roof, let alone structural. So, Alan and I will have to set up a time and talk to him about this yet, but over probably next week, we will go over there. There's some structural, something like 20 of the trusses are busted.
Oh, yeah.
And
it's
the
bad
bottom.
shape. Yeah.
I am in.
The wall's broke.
I'll bring it up now. It doesn't matter. Just something for you, food for thought. Is one, it's that building was in horrible shape. The Boy Scouts and the Garden Club. Hats off to them for putting up with it. It was in terrible shape. I put in a grant. I found out yesterday we didn't get the grant. They had 800 applications for 10 awards. We didn't get the grant. I'm researching, just to let you know my thought process, of demolishing that building. The buildings department needs to build a new building, and I think that's a good spot for them. So that's what I'm researching is possibly, I talked to Alan very briefly about it, but we're gonna research and see if that will be an acceptable spot. The lot's a little bit of a weird layout to build a building big enough for what he needs, but as far as the Boy Scouts and the garden club, it's at no use to them. It's not safe.
No, we're meeting at my house right now to get through the year.
We
and
made a
then-
lease with you, and I'll stand by this. We made a lease with you, and we no longer can honor that lease. So we have additional space that if you don't want to be, when I was a Boy Scout, we met at Scoutmaster's house. But if you want to need a different space, as long as it's not already reserved, we can find another space. We will make sure that the Boy Scouts and the Garden Club, over the course of their lease, which is a year, will have space.
All right, I appreciate that, but I think we'll make do because we only have 2 or 3 more guys that are going to be able to eagle, and the rural communities with Boy Scouts is just fading out. That's just the way it is. So once these 2 or 3 get eagle, it'll be done. There will be no Boy Scout troop in High Springs after all these many years.
And I haven't spoken to the Garden Club about that. We just found out this adjustment. I looked at everything and had a discussion, I believe, today over lunch with Alan about possibly demolishing that building. It's just not safe, and it's going to be way more than what the insurance. I think the insurance was going to give us 17 grand total for that building.
That won't even cover the roof for sure.
No, it won't. So, that's my thought process. Before I make that decision, I'll obviously bring it back up to the commission, but that's the route I think we're gonna end up going.
Also, I'd like to thank Ms. Decker for her devoted time of volunteering for the chamber. Thank you. Appreciate that. Commissioner, past Byron Williams, good luck to you. Appreciate learning a little bit up here while I was here when you were serving. Thank you. I'm good.
Vice Mayor Miller?
The employee of the week, I'm not gonna say his last name, I tried, but he works downstairs in the tag office. When you go to the tag office, you want somebody that is nice all the time. And he's only part-time, but he makes a big impact. Mr. Michael is our employee of the week this week.
All right. Is that it? All right. Well, I want to thank the military veterans in the room as well, publicly from the city of High Springs. Thank you for everything you guys did for this country. Thank you very much. And, yeah, not a very good one. We'll see. And then, even better than anything else, a motion to adjourn.